Yo, what's good, everybody? Cino the Dreaded Beast here, back with another video. I know it's been a while, but hopefully now, with life kind of getting back on track, I can be more consistent with the videos. But as you've seen in the title, today we're going to be talking about Chapter 57 for Kagurabachi. So the chapter opens with the aftermath of Mr. Shimuda's rampage after he received Tobimune from Hikaru, and essentially he decimated everybody. All of the fodder from the Hishaku hired group gone, the tree sorcerer went into hiding and escaped, and on the side of the organization, they only had one casualty, which was one of the guards. The Hikaru offers to bring Yoji his enchanted blade, but is quickly stopped because he is in no condition to use his sorcery. He was barely in condition to bring Tobimune to Mr. Samuda. But with everybody dealt with, the group then starts talking about what they should do next. And because Mr. Samuda has his enchanted blade, they think that they should be fine traveling to the next compound where the next enchanted blade user is being kept. The chapter then cuts back to Chihiro and Hirohiko, who are basically in the same position. Hirohiko is being pinned down by Chihiro, and Hirohiko has lost both arms. But Hirohiko exclaims that they have failed. Their original plan has failed at least, but he's not really fazed by this. He sees this as just a change in the path because their destination or their end goal is still the same. He then tells Chihiro that regardless of if they fail, they still will kill the sword masters, and the leader of Hishaku, Yura, is going to gain control over the Shinichi. But Chihiro retorts saying that there's only a few options left, but he understands why they would be so fired up about this. But nonetheless, he is not gonna let them kill any of the sword bearers if he has anything to say about it. And Hirohiko then kind of mocks Chihiro, saying yes, you must protect the heroes, right? And then starts to talk about school and how schools represents the sword masters and the sword bearers, and how they basically present them to society as heroes who protected the peace of Japan, and how they're heroes who protected the peace of Japan. This makes Chihiro remember his father and how he acted anytime the Shinichi was brought up or the sword masters. He would essentially clam up and kind of shut down and have this weird sad look on his face like something was wrong. And then Hirohiko says something that kind of slips past Chihiro, and that's that Mr. Samuda actually agrees with Hishaku, and that's why he made a pact with Yura, the leader, 3 years ago. But because Chihiro has been basically getting hit non-stop with new information about the sword masters and the Shinichi, he's kind of overwhelmed with all the information that's been coming in and kind of glosses over what was just said, not really hearing what was actually said to him and the implications it may have. But while thinking of his dad and the Shinichi, Chihiro says that regardless of what's going on, in no circumstance can he allow the Hishaku or Yura to gain control of the Shinichi because of the aftermath he's seen at the auction, and that after he saw it, it made him doubt whether this was a power for protection or just a power of destruction, and says that if it were to fall into the hands of Hishaku and Yura, then the country would be destroyed. And in order to prevent that, then Hirohiko interrupts him, saying the sword bearers can't die. But then Hirohiko continues saying that Mr. Samuda thinks that the sword bearers should die. But this time Chihiro catches what he says, and it kind of throws him off, and he kind of stammers through his memories while trying to deny what Hirohiko is saying. And with Chihiro being visibly shaken by this, Hirohiko basically tells him don't think too hard about it. The two of them just have to continue their fight to the death, and that's it. And then all of a sudden a sword comes crashing through the window and lands and embeds itself on the stage of the theater. And using this opportunity, Hirohiko uses one of his severed arms to hit Chihiro, kind of distracting him, while simultaneously another attack comes through the window, forcing Chihiro off of Hirohiko and back into the stands. Hidehiko then uses this opportunity to get to the sword that's on the stage now and uses his mouth to grip it. And as he does this, two geisha-like spirits appear next to him, signifying that this is no regular blade but an enchanted blade, specifically the Kome Yura, which is supposed to belong to Yoji. And that's where the chapter ends. So now that we've covered what happened in the chapter, there's a couple things that I want to talk about, specifically the use of Kome Yura at the end and Mr. Samuda and his potential implications in the incident where the swords got stolen 3 years ago, which is where the story started. But first, let's talk about Mr. Samuda. So in this chapter, as you just heard, we've had several claims that implement Mr. Yuta in the incident that led to the swords being stolen and the murder of Chihiro's father. So since we've known Samuda in the story, he's always been kind of aloof and a sad character, always kind of resentful for the part he played in the previous war where the enchanted blades were created. And we also know that of the users of the enchanted blade, he was the only one who visited the hidden compound where Chihiro and his father lived. So it would make sense if he was an informant of Yura who gave away the information on how to find the compound as well as how to enter it without alerting anybody. And originally I don't think they were supposed to kill Chihiro's father, but were essentially supposed to do like a smash and grab or a covert op to where they just stole the swords but ended up being caught in some way, or maybe they the members of Hishaku just went rogue and just started tearing shit up. But I don't think that Mr. Samuda is a member per se. He may be just affiliated through a mutual agreement made with Yura based on common interests. And Mr. Samuda's involvement with Yura may also stem from things that happened in the war and the corruption that could be in place now from the sword masters as well as the user of Shinichi, who we've gotten teases of but haven't fully seen his face. We know that he has a very deep connection with the Shinichi and is able to remotely control anybody wielding it. But essentially my thoughts are that Mr. Samuda was an informant that gave away the information that led to the incident where the enchanted blades were stolen and Chihiro's father ended up dead, which I think he was actually very remorseful for, but kind of chalked it up to something that was an unfortunate incident that happened because of him. And secondly, I don't think he is an actual member, but may just be an informant to help them achieve the goal of killing the sword bearers, which he seems to agree with based on what we've heard, and a little bit because of his actions, because he thinks that the sword bearers should be the only one that sacrificed their lives, not the people that's guarding them. And that's kind of why he treated his guard group kind of like children, because they are children compared to him. They're significantly younger, but he didn't think that they should be sacrificing their life for him or any other sword bearer who is most likely committed atrocities during the war. And second, I want to talk about the implications that the use of Kame Yura has at the end of the chapter. And what most likely this means is, well, it absolutely means that Yoji has died. Now, whether it was Mr. Samuda that finished him off or the tree sorcerer doubled back and did a sneak attack is unknown and yet to be seen. But this next chapter, chapter 58, should reveal what happened and why Kame Yura is now in the possession of Hidehiko. If you're still here and made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. And if you want more anime content like this, leave a like and a follow and comment any other manga that you want me to cover, because I cover everything. I also have a couple more videos that I want to come out this week covering the newest chapters for Undead Unluck and Kaiju number 8. So if that interests you, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can find out whenever I drop those videos.